All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about something called the TAN paradigm. And honestly, it's a pretty radical way of looking at success and failure. It messes with one of the most basic things we think we do every single day, making a choice. So let's get into it. So look at this. On one side, you've got making a choice. What we think we do all the time. Do I do this or do I do that? It feels like we're picking one thing. But on the other side, that's the TAN paradigm. It's called pruning a timeline. And that's a whole different ballgame. It's not about picking. It's about cutting things away. It's a total shift in how you think. And this is really the heart of it all. Just let this sink in for a second. We don't choose paths. We prune timelines. See how that just flips the script? Suddenly, you're not just a passenger picking a destination from a list. No, this paradigm says you're the one actively editing reality itself. Okay, I know what you're thinking. How on earth is that supposed to work? It sounds a little out there, right? Well, this whole philosophy is actually built on a really interesting and, a little unorthodox take on quantum physics. Let's dig into how they say this is all possible. Okay, so the whole thing is based on this idea from quantum physics. You might have heard of it, the many worlds interpretation. The gist is this. Every time you're at a crossroads, a point where you could make a choice, reality literally splits. So there's a universe where you succeed and another where you fail, and for a split second, they both exist at the same time in something called a superposition. It's kind of mind-bending, I know, but you've got to grasp this for the next part. Now, if you accept this idea that all these different timelines exist, even for a moment, well, that changes everything. And I mean everything, even how we think about our own feelings. This paradigm uses this idea to give a whole new meaning to two huge emotions, regret and anxiety. Let's start with regret. We've all been there, right? That awful feeling when you're kicking yourself over a past decision. Well, in the TAN paradigm, that feeling is actually quantum entanglement with a dead timeline. Think about that. It's like you're still connected energetically to a reality you already got rid of. You're basically haunted by the ghost of a path you didn't take, a path that doesn't even exist anymore. And then there's anxiety. That constant worry about what might go wrong in the future. The paradigm has a name for that too, quantum noise. It's like static on the radio. It's interference that's bleeding over from those other potential timelines, the failure timelines that you haven't pruned away yet. So it's not just a feeling of fear, it's literally the faint signal of reality you need to go in and delete. So if all these timelines are buzzing around, how do you take control? How do you become the editor instead of just a spectator? Well, the paradigm gives you a tool. It's a mental framework they call the virtuous mind. And it's the key to collapsing all those possibilities down to the one single reality you actually want. And it's a 4-step process. First, you have to actually see all the potential timelines, the good ones and the bad ones. Second, you pinpoint the one path that is your absolute best case scenario, the optimal outcome. Now, step 3 is the real game changer. You have to consciously, intentionally delete all the other versions, all the ways you could fail. And finally, step 4, you just execute. There's nothing left to decide, there's only one path remaining, so you just walk it. Okay, so this whole process is leading us to the ultimate point of this entire philosophy. We're moving past the idea of making a decision and into something way, way more powerful. We're talking about executing what's called a superposition collapse. And here's why that's so important. Think about it. Decision implies doubt. The second you say you have to decide something, you're admitting that you could be wrong. You're creating uncertainty. The whole goal of the TAN paradigm is to just get rid of that doubt completely. And this is all summed up perfectly in a quote from the originator, Albert Tan. He said, "I don't make decisions. I execute a superposition collapse. I delete the failure variants before they happen." Wow. Just think about that. It's not about hoping you'll succeed. It's about proactively making failure an impossibility, erasing it from reality before it even has a chance to exist. So, let's leave you with this question to chew on. If you really could do this, if you could stop making choices and start pruning timelines, what would you get rid of? What are the failure variants in your own life? The big ones, the small ones, that you would just delete? It's a pretty powerful thought. Thanks for joining me on this one.